cover, and I don't plant them all because the ground be watered, and I'm just getting tired. So I take a break after having probably about a third of the digging work done, and I say, hey, I'm gonna go to the Dollar General and I'm gonna buy me a sprinkler, and I'm gonna just sprinkle this area with water and let it get wet and let the dirt soften up before I go back to digging, or just so I can just water different sections of the orchard. I prefer to water around the drip line and not get the water on the leaves and the trunk and everything of the tree. But I mean, part of it, you just got to really take man hours into account. I only have so much labor I can do each day, only so much free time I can free up. So it might be good for while I'm doing other work to just sprinkle whole sections. But that other video got deleted or something. And I wanted to show Brittany that, this used to be just a little trench, like, not very deep. But as the waters come in, I've dug it deeper and deeper. And I'm going to show you where my phone fell out of my pocket right there. I've been looking everywhere for it. I'm glad that water level didn't go up, or I almost lost another phone to the water. But I wanted to show Brittany the work I had done on that other video, but it got deleted, I think, because of I don't censor my comments. And I don't know, maybe what the people were saying in the comments, or maybe how I responded to them got the video taken down. I don't know. But I've dug it. You see if I zoom in right here, you can see them flags that marks the border of my property. There's another flag right there. You can draw a straight line, like an imaginary line between them, and see where the property line is. So the hurricane knocked down a lot of trees that had markers on it, so it's not all as accurate as it used to be. But these, that broke above the trunk of the tree, and the flag stayed where it was at. And they marked it twice, once for logging and once the surveyor. So there's enough flags I can pretty much tell where the border is and make sure that I'm on my land and not the neighbors. So this water right here, it flows and it gets on my land over there, and it flows down to a bunch of mud and mosquitoes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start digging here. That's at a lower point of elevation. I've dug that probably 3 foot deep. I'm going to bring this, I'm going to dam it up down there. I had some of it digging toward this way, but I started looking and it'll be way less distance to just dig it this way. I'll dam it up over there. I'll divert that water flow this way and bring it over to here and dump it right into my canal, because it goes to the same, like, my pond has a really low side, and once it fills up, it overflows and it goes up under the road. If the water flows the other way, it goes to the same spot that the overflow of my pond flows into, and it goes over the road. So instead of that water just rushing into a pit of mud and mosquitoes, it could be deep enough to allow mosquito fish to live and eat them. And I'm just going to get it basically to take a detour. Basically, instead of it quickly rushing off the land that way, it'll come this way. It'll go into the pond, it'll overflow, and then it'll go that way. So it just makes more surface area of dirt, holding water in a straight line. Well, a curvy line really, but there's long straight runs of it. And it catches all this water off this hillside. And then from those higher elevations out that way, it flows out this way. And it it puddles up on that side of the property and goes out that way, and it puddles up on this side and goes this way. I'm going to connect the two, run them into the pond, let the overflow of the pond flow back off in the same place as it was. And then I'm going to cut out these trees along this strip to let light in and plant fruit and nut trees. And they'll eventually do the same job as these other trees, shading and making less water loss to evaporation. But it'll also be a long track of, like, see how this is all dry? Out that way. I heard a deer. I think it's a deer. Out there, they're in the swamp over there all the time. So they come out here too to eat the maple seed pods of all the maple trees I've pruned down to the ground. But see all this? Right now there's no water through it. I'm gonna grade it. I gotta get the grade just right so that fish can swim up into the artificial creek without, when the water levels drop, without getting stuck and dying in the mud. I want the water to drain out just right where they can swim back to the pond or swim up into the current when it's in the, not all the trees down into the pond overhead. In some places where the trees are a hazard, but at the same time I like the shade they've provided. So you got trees laid down in the pond. I'm gonna make a chinampa over there. I'm gonna have the security cameras going up to watch for the nature videos, but since I got all these jokers making threats, it'd be good to have some more security anyway. I got my greenhouse. I met my goal of saving up the money for the greenhouse before winter time. So these coffee plants are all gonna get put in the greenhouse in time. Where to get them peppers? I'm gonna let them turn red and go to seed so I can plant them next year. I could pick them now, let them ripen on the counter and get the seeds. But if they ripen on the bush, I think I just heard a grasshoppers. But I was listening. If that had been a rattlesnake, I'd have had me another billfold. I'm thinking maybe I can use this to protect a little bit from hawks, but I don't trust that he wouldn't try to fight the hawk on the side of the cage and get injured and bleed out. I bought this weed cutter for like I think it was like $27, and they were like caution sharp. I take the cardboard off and it is dull as mess. Won't cut nothing. This weed cutter from Ace Hardware, don't buy this piece of shit. They don't sharpen them anymore. Now they're dull. They don't even come pre-sharpened. They ain't worth a fuck. You'll be wasted your money. But I'm gonna go get a sprinkler. I'm gonna get a sprinkler and from the dollar store so I can water part of that land. But like I say, that weed cutting tool at Ace Hardware, they don't sharpen them anymore. I don't know why they got them wrapped in cardboard as flat as they are. They won't cut nothing. My friend said he used to buy them and he could swing and cut the grass with it. Well, not anymore. If I gotta spend hours and hours sharpening that into a blade, it ain't even worth having. Hey, there's one of them emblems of Mars. That's a vulture feather. So I got the animal skull over there, you know. I'm not like obsessed with skulls and death. I prefer beauty. I prefer life, you know, I think. But I do think that there's a time and a place to have some of it in your art. You know, just to remember your mortality. Putting life in that, why's my window stuck over here? I ain't never done this before. It's done got out of track or something. Man, don't start doing this shit. I got another thing fucking up in the truck. Nah, I can't roll my window down. Great. Well, on the plus side, summer's almost over. On the negative side, it's hot right now. I miss it. Oh, there it goes. I'm glad that window went down. Maybe I shouldn't roll it down with it glitching up. I'll wind up getting it to roll down and not go back up. It's 1:40 p.m. because I'm on Eastern Standard Time. All my haters can triangulate my position a little better. Y'all would have found me by now, dang. I done told you the county, I done told you the nation. I done told you the state. I done told you the county. I done told you the city. I done told you that it was on the edge of the city. And it's a small city. You know, there's only, I mean, with back ways and stuff, there might be more, but it's pretty much only like 4 ways. You know, you got 2 ways to enter the city from 280. And what's this other road? 126. You know, the city's on the intersection of 126 and 280. And then in the background of my videos, you see me driving. So I've also named the 2 streets. You know, I've named the 2 roads that border my property. So really, I've told the exact location of my property and then also where I live. Like, it's all in the videos. Man, I want to stop and get a coconut water. I'm thirsty. I'm going to go in the dollar store and get me a sprinkler so I can just have it watering part of my garden while I'm not there. It's probably a little past time, but I don't think it's too late to plant greens, like collard greens, turnip greens, mustard greens. And I think I need to plant me a little winter garden. I'm not gonna, I don't know, I might not plant greens this year, but it'd kind of be a waste not to. With all the labor I've got to do with all kind of other things, I might need to take on another project.